Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in as we're doing an interview here live from Coverings, North America's largest tile and stone expo. We're so thrilled to have you here, and I'm thrilled to be interviewing Brad Denny. Brad is a renowned voice for the tile installation industry here in the U.S. He's very involved with the National Tile Contractors Association, and he's the voice behind Tile Geeks, the private Facebook group that is a great gathering place for those in the installation community mainly. And then there are some tag-alongs, designers and manufacturers, other folks that need to know what's going on in the world of tile installation. I'm one of those people who just pops on to stay aware and try to keep my comments to a minimum because it's your forum. So we're very excited to have him here. So, hi.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Okay, quick question. You are a tile installer.
Yes.
So you're busy. Like, you guys have a lot of work going on.
We are. We're very busy. Nashville, Tennessee is booming, and there's lots going on, and so it's nice. It's a little nice to get away, but this is a little bit of work.
So, with so much work going on back home, what makes it worth your while to carve a chunk of time and be here at a trade show like this?
Well, from a contractor standpoint, there's several benefits. When we walk around and get to see what manufacturers are coming up with and what might fall into our hands, it allows us to kind of get some strategies ahead of time to think about installing these products. When you go on to go to start a project and it's in a material you've never seen or haven't thought about before, it can be a little challenging to get started, but to go ahead and have those strategies carved out is a good idea. The education that's available here is incredible. I feel like a lot of times, I've said this before, but tile installers could be really great poker players because they hold their cards close to the vest. In their own local markets, they usually don't network with other contractors, and it's just a super place to be able to come and talk to some of your peers and see what issues that they have going on, and be able to take some of that, get that feedback and take it back home and kind of digest a little bit of it. I think that when we as an industry are able to get together, because it's a big industry, there's a lot of different interests represented here, but I think that when we can meet each other and we can shake each other's hand, we can see how things are going with each other's businesses. It gives us a little bit of insight of what might be able to make us better. The relationships that I've been able to form through the industry, I try to bolster the ones that I've already have, and I look for new relationships as well, whether it be a manufacturer of a tile or a setting materials or tool manufacturer. So it's a really good opportunity. This year, we are a NTCA 5 Star Contractor, and so this year we had the opportunity to do one of the vignettes at the installation and design experience booth.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I didn't think Tuesday would ever get here, but now I'm kind of ready for Friday to get here.
Yeah.
It's been a long show. We've been here since Wednesday of last week, constructing the booth, and I was able to bring a few members of our team down here who are actually hanging out, and it's the first time that I've been able to bring some of our installers. So it's easy for me to be passionate about this. It can be difficult sometimes to share that passion when I get back home, and I think I just kind of burst forth with a lot of information that I've gained here, and I don't know if they catch all of it. So far I see that same passion that I have about it kind of demonstrated in them. So I think that's been a huge benefit.
Time very well spent. Wow.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
I think
so you mentioned National Tile Contractors Association. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved, and you're really in a position of leadership there now. So how did the evolution take place for your involvement?
So that's a good question. So I had we have a family business since 1973, a three-generation business, and when I learned from my grandfather, and so I kind of just had one way of doing things, and again, we were kind of closed off in our own little bubble. And I think it was 2006. I had my first personal laptop that I used, just because for the installation part that I did, I didn't utilize any outside information, and so I logged in. I found johnbridge.com, and it was an open forum that was for the tile community, mostly focused toward DIY, but there were lots of professionals. And so I got to start talking with other people, and it just blew my mind that other people were as crazy about making sure the layout's just correct, or the particular type of trowel they like to use. So that kind of opened my eyes to that there were others out there that I could connect with. And then a gentleman named Tom Hambrock, affectionately known as Hammy, was a bath, kitchen and bath remodeler out of Manchester, Tennessee, and he and I had met at some type of function, and he was had started becoming involved with the NTCA as a representative in our state, and I credit him to pushing me along to re-up our membership with the NTCA, because we were members a long time ago, back in the late 70s, but he just had this huge personality, and so he asked me to come to a couple of events, and he was didn't have a shy bone in his body, just a great guy to be around. So he was able to introduce me to a lot of people within the NTCA. Tragically, he passed away, and there was a void for that representative spot in our state, and so I was more than happy to be able to step in and do that. Shortly thereafter, a board position came available, and so I volunteered to sit on that. So I'm the Region 6 director for the NTCA and a board member. And somehow or another at our board meeting the other day, I was minding my own business, and I became the Training and Education Committee chairman for us. So
they've got a live one.
Yeah,
You're really good at this stuff. Yeah.
That's right. So that's my current roles. But after coming to one of these events, like I said, it was just almost like catching fire. I really wanted to become more involved. And it wasn't just for the social aspect of it. The things that I learned when I could sit at a table with, we're small, we're less than 10 employees, but when I could sit at a table with another contractor that had 20 or 40 or 100 or 400 employees, it gives me an idea about how to scale my business and things like that. So it's just been a huge, huge benefit. The efforts that the NTCA is putting forward in addressing some of the issues that are out there is bar none the best for the installation community.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, and we have a lot of folks from all stripes in the industry watching this, but how do you relate to other installers and address issues? You as someone who practices what you preach is, what are those issues, maybe 2 or 3 of them, that are relevant for your installer community?
Well, I mean, I think the industry, not just our segment of it as far as installation, there's a huge need for really good qualified labor. I think it just seems the way that societies and some of the generations that are coming in, I think we're going to see a void of really good skilled craftsmen, and so I feel like that there should be a place where we do a better job at doing that. And the NTCA has really stepped up with several really good training opportunities with the NTCA University to be able to have an apprenticeship program. And I mean, I think this is an issue not only for a larger contractor with employees or the sole proprietor. I mean, because that person eventually is going to have to either have a really good business plan for their own business once their bodies start aging and ailing, or for the larger contractor who's trying to, create a sustainable place for a good place. For people to work that can be rewarding and have some structure for them to be able to move into other positions as that time comes. And so that's been a passion of mine, and I think the NTCA has some opportunities to address all of those. Because, I mean, when we have bad installations, or Ryan just did a session here about this, what sets tile apart, and part of that is its life cycle cost, and so when we can't honor that, because of bad installations, then it really takes away from everybody here at the industry.
Right,
so.
the whole industry feels that, definitely.
Yeah.
So just curious, is there trouble finding people to hire? Is it a drought?
It can be. I mean, and I think it's a real big picture thing. I need to be better myself. I mean, as an employer, to be able to attract people, and I don't think that I'm alone in that. I think that a lot of us that are in this craft need help at being able to figure out some of those things, and coming to this show and being involved with the association, I think, helps that. It can be difficult to find people that are interested in doing that. So it's an issue that we're all addressing and that we're trying to be better at.
Yeah. Well, maybe tell them they can come to Coverings.
Yes.
It's a perk.
Yes. That's true. I'll know by the end of the week whether that's true or not.
That's right.
But I think
your team will let you know.
But I think so far it's been a really good trip.
Yeah. So you addressed some things specific to the installer community. For those of us who work with installers, what do we need to know and do better to work with you? Designers, manufacturers, people who are part of the specification process.
Yes.
What do you wish you could tell us? This is your chance.
Yeah. Well, this is a really great question. We would love to just have a really good dialogue, good communication with everybody involved on the projects that we come into contact with. We would love for you to want to champion the cause of having qualified labor out there. I think that when we kind of set a benchmark for what type of installation that you hope to achieve, if your products are really good and the design is really good, then you want to have really good people installing those products. So I think being able to communicate that, not only having a communication with us, but being able to communicate that to your client who's going to be paying for that, and to the designer that's going to be designing that, having those things in mind with the specification is a great thing.
So this is a side question that's come to mind just walking around this show and seeing. We've been doing large format tile for a while now, but it seems like it keeps getting bigger. How are you guys managing the sheer size of the tiles that are so popular right now?
There's some nice, tricky material handling options that are out there for it. We've done several projects with the large format tiles and with the gauge porcelain tiles and panels, and I think it's just something that you have to start on the front end of a project and really think your way through and make sure everyone involved understands, what it's going to entail to have a successful installation with those. I think they're beautiful. I mean, if you walk around the show and look at some of the things that they're doing with these panels, it's actually really, really gorgeous. And I think it makes a beautiful surface. But I definitely think that it's not something to take lightly.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
It's pretty heavy.
It is, and it's but I think it's a great option for us as installers to be able to bring to life the what the designers and the manufacturers are hoping to achieve with it. So.
The education process of knowing how to work with that, which is why you're at a show like this.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's it's kind of a bigger topic, but the certification process that's out there, a third-party evaluation of installer skills, one of the specific ones with the advanced certification testing is a module that goes over gauge porcelain tiles, and so it's something that we've taken serious as a labor group. And we're ready to try to face those challenges.
So education like that, even in what I do for a living, I find I learn more by doing, but it certainly helps to have the foundation of great education. How does that balance for you out in the field with certification programs like you're referencing, that kind of thing?
I can always learn better on somebody's dime when I'm not having to worry about messing up a piece of material that can kind of kill my profit in it. But being able to several different manufacturers are offering factory training, which I think is always an excellent idea. Actually, I think many of them are suggesting that a client should use someone that's gone through factory training for warranty purposes, and I think that is wonderful. I think anytime an installer can get some type of specialized training, it's a really good idea to do so. But on the flip side of that, I think that we as especially, I'm thinking of myself as a contractor, need to do a really good job of having opportunities for our guys to train outside of the job site. So that's something that we're trying to do inside of our own shop, is create those opportunities. But yeah, you can't be overeducated, I don't think, in the installation community. I think anything that you can learn, or anything that when you have an opportunity to pick up something, or even to pick somebody else's brain while you're installing something, is a good opportunity.
And so this is another kind of off-the-cuff question, but you mentioned you got a laptop in 2006, right? This is just cracking me up. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But and then where we are today, so just in that time frame, what is like one thing you're like, man, this industry has changed a lot? Just not
question.
your use of a laptop, but
well, I mean, when I started in like 1993 as a helper, technically speaking, I don't think I was legally old enough to be out on our commercial job sites, but nonetheless, the 8x8s and 12x12s were kind of the big stuff. 4 1/4 was what we did a lot more mud work, and I mean, things were just different. And it seems like the industry, had kind of a slow change of the materials and the things that we were using. But here, just since me getting a laptop, things have just ramped up. Where I feel like if I sat at home one year and didn't come here, I really do feel like I'd be real behind on what's going on out there. Maybe I could catch up. That's not that hard to do.
Quick
I guess.
learner, but still.
But it would be difficult. Like I said, I talked to somebody that hadn't been here in 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And they were just blown away about how big the show had become, and about how just detailed some of the printing and things are on tile. And then, as technology everywhere in our world is increasing at a really fast pace, and so I don't think we're isolated from that. I mean, obviously the technology with manufacturing's gone up, the tool process, of researching and developing products that are going to help us be able to tackle some of the things that these manufacturers are throwing at us. It continues to go up, and so I mean, I just think that's a continual challenge that we all kind of stay on top of all of these changes.
Yeah. So we're only on day 2.
Yeah.
The show goes through Friday. Got big plans? Is this just jam packed for you the rest of the
we've
duration?
got educational sessions that all of our team we kind of sat down before we came, and we looked at what do we need to go see, and what issues are being discussed that we can that's going to address what needs we have back home. So we sat down and got a strategy, and so I think we're continuing to follow with that. And then we're going to take time as a team to go around and just really touch and feel and see tools and kind of look at some of those tiles. It's just a really great place to take care of a lot of things at one time.
Excellent.
And a lot of times we struggle with taking back what we've learned because it is so much to kind of digest all of that and then implement whatever change that we need to do. So between the end of this show and the beginning of the next one, we're going to be thinking about those things.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for carving a few minutes for us here.
Yeah, this has been fun.
We really appreciate it. So thank you. See you around the show floor.
All right, sounds good.